Welcome to TIBCO Data Virtualization Cloud Data Migration. The demo will show how TIBCO Data Virtualization can support cloud data migration by moving data between supported systems and shield data locations from your users during migration. The use case that I will cover will demonstrate an active web service that gets its data from an on-prem SQL Server database. After a cloud data migration, the same dataset will be available on a cloud database. In order to make the migration successful, the web server should now populate the same dataset, getting it from the cloud database. Let's take a look on how it can be done within a development environment called TIBCO Data Virtualization Studio. Within the shared workspace, I already created a project called Cloud Data Migration. The result of a project is an active web service consuming the data from a Microsoft Server data source. The project itself consists of two data sources: an existing local Microsoft Server data source and a cloud AWS data source. These two data sources have the same dataset. I created 3 folders in order to follow the data virtualization architecture layered approach. On the first layer, called the physical layer, we already have an existing data view, which is a representation of the local Microsoft Server database. This dataset is used both on the business and the presentation layer in order to make the web service available for our consumers. Now that we have a cloud data source with the same dataset, we would like to decouple the on-prem dataset and use the cloud dataset for our web service. We start on the physical layer to create a new data view for the cloud data source. New view. Customer cloud. Then I will drag the data source to the view and say save. Once we create the view, we will use it on the business layer and couple it with the on-prem dataset. Couple. We select the columns that we would like to use for the presentation layer. Say save. Now on the presentation layer, we can update the existing view and select the columns that we would like to use and make available for the web service. As you can see, you see the columns from both the cloud data source and the local data source. Here we can select which columns we would like to use. All columns with a 1 are coming from the cloud data source. So we keep only the ones with the 1 at the end. We say save. Now when we go back to the web service, we say refresh. The web service is still active and the data is still available. Now our business consumers will have the ability to use the data from the cloud database without knowing that we migrated the data sources. This is the power of TIBCO Data Virtualization.